Hello friends and potential friends. Let's see, today is the day before Thanksgiving, November 23rd, 2022. I figured I'd take a quick look at what's going on in the garden at the moment. Up here in the container garden, still have one pot of comfrey down there I gotta put somewhere. A couple of avocados that are probably starting to get root bound. Oh, in my ever-present mint trying to take over from the avocados. Ginger doing pretty good still. The turmeric is kind of mostly falling over now. A little bit of turmeric out here in the experimental bed. And I've got not one, but where is it at? That's not it. Okay, I can't find it when I'm zoomed in. That one. Another volunteer potato plant. I have no idea how long they've been growing in there, but they're still green, so I'm going to leave them. Not much else in the experimental bed. Of course, I've always got aloe. There's a little bit more ginger over on the far side. Some of the comfrey, a little bit of rosemary. I still have 5 pineapples up here on the porch, patio, whatever. My salad tower over here is doing pretty good. I got a couple layers of Swiss chard down there. Those are marigolds at the bottom. And then up here we've got various types of lettuce. Let's see. Oh, still have a couple of sweet potato slips down there that never got planted. And I still have a couple of strawberries growing. The elderberry does not seem to be doing much, but you notice there's a bunch of turmeric down below it. These pineapples are pretty happy. And there's my sweet potatoes from slips. And they have still got almost another month before they're due to be dug up. But they're starting to die off quite a bit. Maybe it's getting too cool for them lately. Roma tomatoes are doing wonderful. I have had a little bit of problems with some worms on some of the other tomatoes, but so far they haven't attacked the Romas. And I've got Romas all over the place in here. Just waiting for some of them to start turning. They're growing good. Let's see, more rosemary over here, which I basically just ignore, except when I need some rosemary for something I'm cooking. A little bit of comfrey here, followed by several different varieties of tomatoes. Yep, I planted entirely too many tomato seeds this year. Now over here, this is different. This is where the sweet potatoes from seed were at. And I finally got tired of looking at them, tired of stepping over them. So I gathered up a bunch more seeds, and then I pulled up all the vines and put them out in various places in mini orchard. And well, the experiment's going to continue because that's what a sweet potato seedling looks like when they first pop out of the ground. So, and there's a bunch of those in here too, incidentally. So they will be back. I think once you plant the seeds and let them go to seed one time, you're going to have them forever. Down at this end, we put in a couple of rows of eggplants and a couple of rows of broccoli and more sweet potatoes from seed, and then some more comfrey. The okra bed, they still keep flowering a little bit, but they're not producing a whole lot. And I'm mainly just waiting on this one down here to start drying out and cracking so I can get seeds out of it. This is now becoming a salad bed. I've got a couple rows of cabbage collards that are doing good. Looks like something's been eating on them a little bit, but they're growing pretty fast right now. Then we have some red Russian kale, couple of plantings of gourmet lettuce mix, some orange Swiss chard. Then we have some Vates blue curled kale here at the end, and I've also mixed in a little bit more Swiss chard that didn't have any place else to put. This bed of tomatoes is doing good. These are beefsteaks down at this end, and we have Amana tomatoes, and we have Boxcar Willie, and then the last ones down here are the Floridad. Floridad's got blossoms all over it, and it's also got tomatoes, if you can see those. A couple of them up there, there's a few over here, and there's a few more over here. Just waiting on them to start changing colors for me and pulling suckers whenever I see them. Then we come down here to another greens bed. We got a couple rows of cauliflower, a couple rows of Brussels sprouts, some Mishihili Asian cabbage, it's starting to grow pretty good, some red acre cabbage, which one of those is missing. I might have to transplant one of those doubles just to fill in that space. And finally at the end is golden acre cabbage. The other side of the Roma bed, and again there are Roma tomatoes all over the place in there, and I'm just waiting for them to change colors for me. And then the garden peach over at this side. Got a lot of blossoms. There are a few tomatoes in here. Yeah, see, there's a couple back there, and one of them's got a stink bug on it. Can't have that. And they're all doing pretty good. Down at this end, I've been chasing down some little black worms that have been chewing on these plants right at this end of the bed. In fact, there's one right there, it looks like. Every time I find them, I squish them. But they hide pretty good in there. And then finally out here in the back end, there are still a couple of sweet potato plants in that bed. These are more of the garden peach, and we've got a bunch of tomatoes on those. And it looks like I need to remove some of the lower limbs, lower leaves. But those ones are for eating. And then the patience bed back here in the back, looking about the same as always, but it's not something I can complain about because it just keeps on growing, and maybe next year I will actually get to eat some of it. The mini orchard looks about the same as usual. Like I said, I put a bunch of those sweet potato vines out in there in various places. I figure if they drop seeds, start growing out there, they'll make good ground cover. And if they don't do anything else, they'll make good food for the rest of the mini orchard. So that's about where we're at the day before Thanksgiving. And it's shortly after noon. Ugly overcast, but at least it's not raining this time. And I'm going to get in there and start doing some preliminary cooking, getting ready for tomorrow. Got to do a little bit of baking, I think. So with that, I'll see you on the next one.